Oh my goodness, I'm Max Garcia, and today we are doing another season review on an Apple TV Plus original, and this show is Dickinson. Dickinson is 10 episodes long, and each episode is around 30 minutes. And this show is starring Hailee Steinfeld as Emily Dickinson. And Emily Dickinson was this poet back in the 19th century. And this takes place like right before the Civil War, so I would say around 1840s. And they have a ton of historical mentions, like the Kansas-Nebraska Act, how like the Whigs like disintegrated into nothing in the political realm of politics. They have a bunch of mentions of history going on, such as like this African American who's a servant, and they're in the North, so he still has like racial discrimination even though he's in the North, so they have kind of like little awkward moments with that. And I like how they use this historical situation with Emily Dickinson, but they don't go completely on the facts. So they do have some, let's say, loose guidelines on how Emily Dickinson was this poet in the 1840s and how she never really got to fully embrace her work. She always had these problems, let's say, with her father, who doesn't really want her to write poetry, but she does anyways. But they take that loose guideline and then just add this comedic factor with like 21st century language. So they use language as like woke, and let's go peep some leaves, and just like a bunch of sarcasm. And it's great because Emily Dickinson is this weird, unique teenager who's kind of just exploring herself. And since she's in the 1840s and she's kind of like this person who doesn't really care for social norms, she's going to go with her friend and break into a college to learn about volcanoes. She's going to do that. She doesn't care. She's going to make out with Sue a couple times, whether that be in rain or in a house. She's going to have two different relationships and just deny this love interest and put him on the back burner, and then just kind of downplay him until the end. I really do like Dickinson. It's really funny. Hailee Steinfeld, absolutely gorgeous. So here's a funny story on that. My friend got the iPhone 11, and with the iPhone 11 you get this free 1-year subscription. And I asked him, what show are you going to watch on Apple TV Plus first? And he literally said this exact sentence: Dickinson, because Hailee Steinfeld is absolutely beautiful. And that put a light bulb in my head. Yes, indeed. This show is shot perfectly. And the one gripe I have with the show is that the plot isn't really there. Like, they're not really doing activities on the daily. It's kind of just like pauses in action from episode to episode. Emily's father is a politician for the Whigs, and I think that's going to be explored more in season 2. I would love to see more of like the Civil War element in season 2, and how like Dickinson sees that and writes poetry about that. But they literally have like Emily writing poetry, and they put like those lyric lines right there on the screen for you to see, like wild nights. Oh my gosh, it was night. It was dark. I'm not a poet, but Emily Dickinson is. And it's cool to see. It's just interesting take on a story. How like it's in a historical setting, but they just bring it up with like their current cultural language. I like it. Dickinson, I'm gonna give it a 6.1. There's some times where it's like George is like Emily's love interest in like the first 6 episodes, but then all of a sudden George tries to appeal to Emily's father, and then Emily doesn't like it anymore, and then George like it's just cut off right there, and it's just like this weird twist in a character that you just don't really like at all. You don't really understand it, but kind of, because you want to do anything to get Emily's father's approval, I guess. But then there's this other love interest that pops up like an episode later called Ben, and they instantly fall in love. And then in this whole midst, it's Emily's love interest in Sue is kind of like underlying everything. And then Austin is Emily's brother who's trying to marry Sue, but they're also in love, so it's like Sweet Home Alabama. Interesting setup here, and I'll watch season 2 because it's sure gonna be funny. Like, who doesn't like seeing a bee dance with Hailee Steinfeld? Like, that literally happened in episode 3, called Wild Nights. One of my favorite episodes because the music that they put on the show is like tier 1 quality. Like, it's right there, and then they're all like dancing like it's a club, like a high school party. Boom, boom, boom. In episode 3, that's my favorite episode. And it's just kind of like up and down with the plot that doesn't really go anywhere. So yeah, 6.1 is worth it. It's worth it. Apple TV Plus, good job hit on this show. Alright, that's it for me here. Thank you for watching. Make sure you bless it. Peace out.